The recession of this glacier is happening before our eyes.
This whole story started when two friends showed me two pictures, taken at the same place 2 years apart, showing a scary story: Wedgemount Glacier's disappearing. After seeing this, I wanted to find out more. Why was this happening so quickly, and what impacts could this have on communities like Whistler that sit just below the mountain?
So I'm out here at Blackcomb Helicopters, which is the world's first carbon neutral helicopter company, which I find so cool. But what we're doing today is I'm getting a bird's eye view of Wedgemount Glacier.
Wow, it's beautiful. You can really see how that glacier's like creeping up the mountain.
The glaciers are exposing the rock beneath them, and then that solar heating from the sun just radiates through the rock and kind of expedites that melting process from the bottom up.
But to really see the impacts firsthand, I knew I was going to have to get a closer look. So we're at the Wedge Trailhead. And the word of the day is relentless. I set out with my guide Jeremy from Mountain Skills Academy and Adventure. He's also a local search and rescue volunteer, so who would know the mountain better?
I've been playing and working in the South Coast mountains for about 25 years or so.
It might be just a 12-kilometer hike, but there's over 1,100 meters of elevation. So after some grueling steep sections, we finally made it to the big reveal. Wow. But right away, Jeremy notices how different the mountain looks.
Two years ago to within a week, the ice was actually floating in Tupper Lake. The recession of this glacier is happening before our eyes.
Don Lyon and my dad, Bill Tupper, and Carl Ricker sort of started this project back in 1973.
When monitoring of the glacier first started, it actually reached down to Wedgemount Lake. Rob Tupper has been keeping up his father's legacy, hiking with his daughters to the glacier every year to monitor changes.
When you would have hiked up to the upper, call it Tupper Lake, in the 1970s, that was covered by 120 meters. From sort of 2020 to 2023 was probably being sort of the most dramatic. There's a pretty consistent about 2.5 meter thickness difference per year.
But how does all this impact us?
Glaciers are sort of thought as the canary in the coal mine. We can see the changes that are happening to them.
Michelle Kopis is a glaciologist and professor at UBC and has been researching how glaciers are responding to climate change.
Why should we even care about what's happening?
These glaciers are water towers, so they're providing fresh water to all the communities that are living downstream. And as we see these glaciers shrinking, you can start to think about, okay, well, what does that mean for access to fresh water downstream? What does that mean to our reservoirs that we use for drinking water, that we use for hydropower? I mean, 90% of our energy needs is from hydropower in BC, and that's all energy that's coming out of these glaciers.
A UBC study done in 2015 showed that the province will lose around 70% of its glacier ice by the end of the 21st century, and we're going to have to find ways to adapt. But while on my hike with Jeremy, I realized that these melting glaciers don't just have a physical impact on us, but an emotional one as well.
It's hard to see. I have kids. I want my kids to experience the mountains. I want them to see these glaciers in their grandeur, not as their final days.